You're tuned in to the world of Tom, where you catch all the facts and stay connected with Tom Lane.
Welcome back to In the World of Tom. I'm Tom Lane. As we all know, October is the best month to continue to spread breast cancer awareness. And according to cancercenter.com, breast cancer is the second most common cancer among women in the United States behind skin cancer. So today I am sitting with Miss Arriel Bivens, who's a two-time cancer survivor and the founder of Young Biz Kids and YBK Day, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to empower young people by engaging and encouraging financial literacy and entrepreneurship in the youth. So now that I got that out the way, hey, Miss Arriel, how you doing?
Hi. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to share your platform with you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for taking your time out so that way we can get to know you a little better. So, if you don't mind, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yes, I am a mom of two. I am a wife. I am a two-time cancer survivor. I love to serve in my community. I am a child of God, and I like to help women and empower women through teaching their kids entrepreneurship and helping them to really create that generational wealth and that impact that they would like to see within their communities and within their households.
I really want to get to know more about young biz kids because, as an area educator, I know that we try to encourage financial literacy as well inside the youth to also get deeper. How does it feel being a two-time cancer survivor?
It feels great. Most people say I got a second chance of life at life. I feel like I've got several second chances at life to be able to really walk out my purpose and looking at life now as the cup being have. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Yeah.
You're okay.
Yep.
Take your
Let me
time.
looking at life now as serious. It's serious.
Yes.
Cancer makes you look at life and walk differently, talk differently. And I know you hear people say that, but it does something to you because when you have something you have no control of, and as a mom, I'm used to being in control of a lot of things. You have no control of it when it comes into your life, how it interrupts your life, and it really it just really takes a direction. You just don't know what way it could go. It could go either way. Your faith tells you to stay strong and holding on to God's word that you shall live and not die, and that he knows that he what the plan that he has for you, and it's for good and not for evil. The words and all of that sound good, but when you're really in the thick of it, just being able to still hold on to it even though it doesn't feel good, your body is not functioning the way that you usually used to it functioning, not being able to get up out of the bed when you want to, not being able to hold your child like you want to. This second time when I was diagnosed, my daughter was 2 years old going into her third birthday, and I really haven't picked her up and really held her because I don't have the strength to hold her, and she's 7 now. So I hug her, I love on her, but I can't lift her like I would really like to lift her. So during my journey, the second time I was diagnosed in 2017, I had about 4 surgeries. I had a double mastectomy, which means that both of my breasts were removed, and we fought all the way through it. I had 12 rounds of chemo treatment. I did not have radiation this time because I had radiation the first time, and you can only have 1 round of radiation throughout your lifetime. So this time it was a journey. It was something different, but my faith carried me through it. I feel like that I slept most of the time through the journey, and now that I speak about it more, I realize how hard of a fight and it breaks me down every single time that I talk about it, because when you're going through something, sometimes you don't realize how much strength you had, and then when you really sit back and realize, you're like, man, that was a huge undertaking that I just went under.
Thank you for being an inspiration to others, because I know some ladies that are battling this cancer and they have, or what seems like to be, high hopes and high spirits, and they're taking it different, while others are, taking it harder than most, not being able to get out of bed and motivate themselves. But you're an inspiration to let us see and hear how you have fought it not once, but 2 times. And now look at you, you're creating and you have a business. And it sounds like it's one thing that has kept you motivated to keep going and keep fighting. So keep fighting. And I stand behind you. You're going to make me like get in my feelings, because I've had family and I've had friends to face it. And I know that doctors at certain age, they say that you need to, by 23 or early 20s, start getting the mammograms and getting checked for that. To be honest, I haven't, not yet. I do plan on doing it. But how did you find out that you were diagnosed, and how old were you?
So the first time I was diagnosed, I was 22 years old. The second time I was diagnosed, I think that I was 35 years old. And the way that I found out I had a lump, my husband had left to go on a business trip. I was supposed to go on a business trip with him. I decided to stay back home, but I had noticed a lump in my chest. When he got back, I told him, I'm like, I think something is wrong. And he told me when he was out of town, he knew something was wrong, because I kept calling him. But I went and got it looked at. They told us that it was cancer. I kind of prepared myself for it because I've already been through it. So I prepared my mind for it, that if this is what it is, God's word already spoke and said that it was done, meaning that whatever that was, I was already healed from it. I just had to believe that. So my belief let me know that that's just something that I'm going to have to go through, but I will make it to the other side of it. So my faith carried me through. I hear people say that it runs in their family and things like that. And I do have my granny did have cancer. My aunt had cancer. I had a cousin that had cancer. But my personal belief is that it does not run in my family, because if I believe that it runs in my family, I believe that that means my children can have it, my son or my daughter, because breast cancer men can get breast cancer also. Yeah. So for me, it does not run in my family. And because my children, that disease will not touch my children. So I believe that I carried it, I battled it, and I held on to God's word, and I petitioned God to let God know I'm fighting this thing for other people and mostly for my family, so this won't touch my children.
And actually, that leads me into my next question as to what are some things that you think that are important for women to know, who may have breast cancer in their family, keep up on their health, and just, see a doctor?
Yes. The number one thing, if any changes or you feel anything different in your body, go to the doctor. No matter if it's small, it doesn't matter. Go to the doctor. The other thing that I would recommend is watch your diet. A lot of the research that I was doing and a lot of stuff that we noticed when I was battling the soda that I was drinking, the amount of stress that I was under, the different things, good stress and bad stress, can cause things to happen within your body. And because I had cancer before, I was more susceptible to having it again. And that year, I had a bunch of traumatic stuff happen, good and bad. And then 9 months later, here comes the cancer again. So I would say, pay attention to your health, go to the doctor, watch the food that you put in your body, fruits and vegetables. And if you are diagnosed, change your diet. I think one of the things that helped me, I did do the chemo route and all of that, but I also changed my diet. I did a lot of fruits, vegetables. I didn't drink soda, chips, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Now I'm back doing it again, but during that time, my diet was strict. My friend made meals for me that was fruits, vegetables, organic stuff from her garden, all of that to help me with my battle. And I believe that that was a big reason why I was able to come out on the other side because of the diet.
Going through all of this, what is your support system like? You
This
have a lot of
time
family?
I got a big family, but this time we decided to keep it contained between my husband, a close friend, two close friends, and my parents. And the reason for that, because God had already spoken to us to tell us this was a battle and we needed to stay focused on him, and I couldn't have distractions and negative thoughts. So sometimes when you tell somebody you have cancer, they immediately start crying, they think it's a death sentence, all of that. I couldn't have that in my space because I battled it before and I know what it was like. So I'm like, no, this time we have to stay laser focused and keep your eye on the prize, which is what God said. Because sometimes when you've been through something already, that fear starts to creep up, like, oh, I know this gonna happen, I know this gonna happen, I know. And even though knowing that was going to happen, I just couldn't focus on it. So for us, we came up with a plan. My husband still worked and things like that. He took off for surgeries. He had taken me to my chemo treatments, and my friend would pick me up from my chemo treatments. I slept most of the time. I was up front with people that I didn't want people just coming over my house, sitting around, just watching me. If you came over my house, they would be cleaning, putting food up, stuff like that. Sometimes my friend would come in and I would be in the bed and I would be sleeping and I wouldn't even know that she had been there. One more thing important that I forgot to mention, my children. My daughter would sleep in the bed with me sometimes, and at the time she was 3, she would have conversations with me, tell mommy she's beautiful, touch my head because my hair was gone. And then my son, he was about 10 years old at the time. He was making me food, making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, making things and bringing it and sitting on the bed to make sure that I eat, because sometimes with chemo you can't eat. But he was making sure that I ate, and my husband was making sure that I had showers and things like that. So my support system, even though it was big and I have a big support team, because this was so sensitive and we had already knew what God spoke, we kept it contained because we couldn't let any negativity in the circle. So I came up with this thing that I call the pink print, which is the first thing is to listen to the voice of God. The second thing is to stay positive no matter what the doctors say, no matter what paperwork say, no matter what your body is feeling, stay positive. And then the third thing was to trust the process. Even though I had certain surgery scheduled, we had a surgery happen out of the blue that wasn't scheduled. One of my implants had bust, and so we had to go in for emergency surgery, and it wasn't prepared. But it was like part of that was just trusting the process, that no matter what happened, we knew that we were coming out on the other side.
I like to hear that behind this time, you just got this immense amount of faith, like you know what you're going after. And I think that within itself sends out a message within the community out to other women. But what do you have to say to other women? Do you have any advice for other women when it comes to checking into their health or dealing with their situation if they're battling the breast cancer right now?
My suggestion would be just staying positive. Mindset is most important at this time. If you are battling, making sure that no negativity and reducing the amount of stress that you're under. And taking that time to be selfish at this moment that you're fighting for your life. So right now you can't be everything for everybody else. You have to be what you need for yourself at this moment. And it is called being selfish, but in the long run, you're going to thank yourself later that I didn't try to be all things for everybody else. The less stress you're under, the better. And some days when you feel like doing nothing, don't do anything at all. The only thing that I suggest, if you feel yourself getting into a depression and you don't want to get out of the bed, just get up and stand on the side of the bed. And I call that getting into a different position So sometimes we stay in a position because it's comfortable for us. But when you're feeling that depression coming on, you got to get up and just stand and making that declaration in your mind that I'm standing on God's word. And then the next day, stand up and walk to the end of the bed. Just get out of the position that you feel like that you're stuck in. And for me, I physically had to get up out the bed and say, you know what, I don't want to get out of bed, but I'm going to get out the bed because I'm going to stand today and be better than what I was yesterday.
Yeah, and it sounds like you made sure that you had things outside of your home to bring you out, to motivate you, keep you working. And is that where your business come from? Young biz kids.
Yes. So my so Young Biz Kids was created from my son. So my son wanted to start a business at 7 years old. I told him no, but then I told him if he did a business plan and all of that, I would, we would invest into the vending machine business for him. Well, he invested. I mean, he did his business plan. He ran a lemonade stand, made $1,200 in 3 days. We took
Oh,
that
okay.
1,200 and invested into the vending machine business. He gave up giving gifts for Christmas so that we could put more money into the vending machine industry. And today, he started with 2 machines. Today, currently, he owns 12 machines. But during that process, I had other parents come to me asking me, how do I teach my child entrepreneurship? So that's when I started Young Biz Kids, so that I can help other families learn about entrepreneurship and know that it's an option. Honestly, all kids will not go to college. For
Yeah.
me, my reason for allowing my son to start the business was because I wanted the right thing in his hand before the wrong thing got in his hand. We're from St. Louis, Missouri. We're from a part of St. Louis that wasn't one of the best parts. We've since moved out of that neighborhood, but during that time, I knew that I needed to get the right thing in his hand before somebody else got something in his hand. I can recognize the entrepreneurship that was in him, so I wanted to make sure that was part of that. But during that journey of teaching him and looking at our community, I had made up in my mind that if the drug dealers can recognize entrepreneurship in our young kids, we should be able to recognize that entrepreneurial bug within them and then give them and put them on the right path if we're saying that we're entrepreneurs and we got what they need.
Agree with that. And if we can help them, why not? If we can give them resources and tools to use when they are faced with certain challenges or peer pressure, then why wouldn't we give that? Especially if we've already been through it, or and we just know, why wouldn't we pass that on to our youth? How can we get our community involved? Those that want to learn more about young biz kids and get involved with biz kids, how can they do that?
So they can go to MikeyKnowsBiz.com and fill out a form on the website, which is my son's website, and then we would just have a conversation from there. What does that look like? I have several programs that go on throughout the year. This July 17th, 2021, we established Young Biz Kids in 7 states and 12 cities. So we're continuing to grow and spreading entrepreneurship throughout the nation and hopefully internationally in a couple of years. I believe that that is the next move for our kids. Even if you're going into a corporate job, you still need to have an entrepreneurial mindset because it allows you to think and problem solve. And that's what we need our kids to be: self-thinkers, problem solving, and not just strictly do what I say, do what I tell you to do. I feel like my parents sent me to college because that's what they were told. Now I'm saying we need to let kids experience entrepreneurship early,
Yeah.
so that we can really train them up in the way that
Yes.
they should go,
Yes,
so that
ma'am.
we can see this child is entrepreneurial, so this is the path that they need to be on and not this path. So my son mindset now is that if he doesn't go to college, he's going to hire people that's smarter than him to do what it is that he needs them to do. But he has an entrepreneurial mindset, so he's always going to be a student and learning the things that he needs to learn. But for the things that don't interest him at all, he's not going to waste his time with it. He's going to hire somebody to do accounting, do the market. Well, he likes marketing, so he'll do his own marketing, but those other areas that he's not so fond of. But
Hmm.
his mindset allows him to know in advance, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this what works for me, and this is what don't work for me.
And I know he likes seeing results. I know that it makes him feel awesome to be able to see the results, see the fruit of his labor. I think once the kids see that it has actually produced something, that's when they really are hungry for it and want to go after it. So I'm really happy to hear that. And I wish him all the success with that. How can we as a community better support you and what you have going on with Young Biz Kids?
I would say entrepreneurs, business professionals, corporate professionals, reaching out to volunteer and teaching certain skill sets that the kids will need to be able to be successful.
Okay.
Um, Sometimes we have media training, sometimes we have financial training, sometimes the parents need to be trained on certain things with just keeping their books in order, so when they do go see the tax professional, they don't have to pay so much money for just having receipts in the shoebox. Like just simple
Right.
stuff, those professionals reaching out saying, hey, how
Hmm.
can we serve and support you, I think will go a long way.
All right. Well, I'm definitely going to try to do better. I know this past summer, I had a friend to send me a financial literacy book for adults and on budgeting and all of that. So I definitely will like to be better and consistent with that. So that way, if I was to be faced with any health issues, I will be prepared. That that triggers a question. Did you have, and if this is too much and you don't want to go into it, you don't have to, but did you face any issues with health insurance or being able to take care of your treatments and all of that?
Not this time. The first time when
Okay.
I was younger, I did my insurance. I was working a job. They said that my cancer was pre-existing, that I had cancer longer
Hmm.
than what I knew, so they did not cover me. But because I was still underage, I was still on my parents' insurance, and they
Okay.
had AFLAC, which kicked in to help with some of these doctor bills. I did have to file bankruptcy the first time because we just couldn't afford all of the bills. I had like $250,000 in hospital bills. This second time I was on my husband's insurance. He has really good insurance, but we still felt faced some financial hardships of just the
Hmm.
day to day living, and we end up losing our house. And since then we have recovered, but we had some loss going. But like I said, keeping our mindset and staying focused on what
Hmm.
God said, and it's always the storm before you could see the rainbow. And I just felt like this was part of the storm that we were going to. One, because battling breast cancer. Two, the financial storm that happens, and the resilience that happens when you're an entrepreneur. Either you're gonna sink or
Right.
you're gonna swim. And for me, I'm like, hey, give me a life jacket, we about to swim, like we out here
Yes.
now. So
Yes.
that's what I felt. The other thing, it sparked something with me too, something else that you said. In
Hmm.
my mind, when I started teaching my son entrepreneurship, I wasn't thinking about the cancer, but in my mind, I was thinking, I want my child to be able to live life outside of my house without me. I don't want my son to say, I went off to college and my mom didn't prepare me, or the
Right.
school didn't prepare
Yes.
me for to pay bills and live out on my own. I didn't know about credit. I didn't know about this. So I started teaching him that stuff through entrepreneurship and him making his own money. Because 100% honest and transparent, me and my husband both work full-time jobs. We were both living paycheck to paycheck. Entrepreneurship was my way out to say, if we're truly going to be millionaires, this is not going to do it. But then in teaching
Right.
my son and telling him that he's a kingdom millionaire and you're going to be a millionaire, I knew putting him in a position to where he was working a job, that's not going to happen. So entrepreneurship just became a part of our lifestyle. We also have another child that we're teaching entrepreneurship to right now. So
Yeah, I get to meet her.
originally, yes, yes. So originally it was for teaching him how to live life outside my home. But when I got diagnosed with breast cancer, it came full circle that if I did not make it, he was going to be okay and be able to teach his little sister what I put inside him. So everything that I had inside me, I was pouring it out because I felt like if I was going to leave her, I was going to leave on empty. I never felt like that I was going to leave, and I knew that I was going to be healed, but I also had an
Yeah.
understanding that sometimes healing doesn't look like what we expect it to look like,
Mhm.
and sometimes we go on, and that is part of God's healing.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
so just having that understanding that I plan to be here, but if God says otherwise, then at least everything that I had on the inside of me is out there. It's planted in my kids. It's planted into my community, and all of these other moms that I come in contact with. I give them everything that I got.
Yes, ma'am. Come on, manifest, manifest. You speaking some truth, and you out here preaching now today. So I appreciate that. That right there is. I would hope that anyone that is tuning in right now will be able to take that little bit and at least let that carry them for the rest of the day. So that way you can just be inspired and be uplifted. Keep being focused. Stay focused on what the goal is for yourself. And if you know that your body is healed and you are being healed and you're going through your healing, then continue to believe that faith without work is what, Miss Ariel?
Dead is dead.
All
So
right.
yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
preach, preach. So, so that's it for my questions. But before I let you go, is there anything that you would like to say to the community? I guess the young people across the nation.
Yeah, I would like to. I'll talk to the young people, and then I'll speak to the moms. Young people, what I would like to say to you is, dabble in entrepreneurship. Do a community service project, plan something, put something together that's going to cause impact for your community. You're going to learn a lot of skills and things about yourself that you did not know that you had, and then you'll find your passion or your purpose with doing those things of serving others. To the moms, take care of yourself. Make sure that you're taking time for self-care. And I'm not talking about going to get your nails done, going to get your hair done. None of that. When I say self-care, taking that time to just lay down and do nothing. Like sit down and do nothing. Not just sitting in your car, but really taking that time and taking time out away from everything and turning it off. As moms, our mind go all day long. We're thinking about dinner. We're thinking about what the kids wearing. We're thinking about the next thing we got to do. We're thinking about the bills that's going. We're thinking about all of that stuff, and all of that stuff causes stress on our body. So my suggestion to you is use a journal, start writing stuff down, prioritize it, and then start checking things off your checklist. Go to bed at a decent time at night and allow yourself to know that that problem is not going to be solved doing of me staying up all night. But when I can lay down and start over refresh, I can have a better outlook on what it is, the things that I need to tackle the next day. So my suggestion to moms is just please don't allow stress to overtake you, because that's one of the number one causes of women battling different cancers and ailments in their body. And 1 out of every 7 women you come into contact with will be diagnosed with breast cancer. You don't want that one person to be you.
I'm definitely gonna buckle down and I'm gonna get checked. I'm gonna go ahead and go through with it. I'm gonna be honest that I haven't done it. I feel like I haven't ran to do it for the simple fact of just being scared. I've had friends my age to face it, and and I don't know what I'll do if it was me. I mean, I think I will continue to do anything, the same thing I've been doing when I've been faced with adversity or some form of trauma. So I can only just be strong, but I'm curious now because I am older. At 30 years old, I am battling high blood pressure. I started on a weight loss journey with hopes that that's a good start and I can go somewhere with that. I just want to be healthy. More importantly, I just want to stay alive. So if anything, I think I would have more of a fight in me if I was to find out anything bad, or even if I was to find out something good, it'd still motivate me to continue to stay on top of my health. So I'm that person to go to bed at 8:30 though. I
Yeah,
like my 8 hours.
yeah, let me add this. Don't be
Yes,
afraid,
ma'am.
because fear is just false evidence appearing real. That fear once you go to the doctor and they tell you, now you know how to handle it. But
Yeah.
if you're still living in something in the unknown, that's where that fear and that those battles start to happen in your mind. Find out what's going on and then you can address it, because we can use strategy to address anything we know. When you
Yeah.
don't know, you can't take care of it. So
Yeah.
it's either it is or it's not. And once you find out that if it is, then this is the game plan. But if you wait too long to say, I'm going to go look at it, it might be too late for you.
Yeah.
So don't allow fear to keep you from going to get looked at, checked out, and fear of anything. Fear of stepping out of starting a business, fear of stepping out to do what you know that you've been called to do, fear of just living your life out loud for the world to see. All of that fear holds you back, and it's really resistance, because on the other side of that, something great is going to happen if you would allow that fear to subside. But if you keep living in fear, you can't get to that greatness that's on the inside of you, and that's why that resistance is there. God has a call for you. He has something that he wants you to do. So you have to act on it. You have to go get checked and then be able to tell that testimony to those other women that you minister to on
Yeah.
your platform, that I was scared, but I went anyway, and it was nothing. I was scared of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, because it's
Yeah.
nothing.
Okay. Okay.
It's nothing.
Okay. Explain the process. What, I mean, I know that they showed me graphs or pictures as far as like, being able or having to lay your breast on a platform and they clamp down on it. And
Mm-hmm.
is it like an x-ray so they take a picture of the insides? Okay.
Yes. So it's like an x-ray. It's really easy. It's simple. I know some people say it hurt, and
Mhm.
sometimes if you have tender breasts, it might. Mine didn't hurt at all. I went in, got, and I still had breast cancer, and it didn't
Mhm.
hurt.
Okay.
So it didn't bother me, but to each his own. Go through it the first time. Make the doctor's appointment. It's called a mammogram. Go get the mammogram, and then allow them to make the call on what it is, because originally they didn't think that it was breast cancer. They thought that it was a calcium buildup, the knot that they
Mhm.
saw. But then they did a biopsy on it, which let them know that it was breast
It
cancer.
was
But
cancer.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it could be many different things. We deal with fibroids, we deal with other things
Yeah.
that lumps could be. So just knowing what it is, the doctor is a professional for a reason. They're being paid for a reason. Let them tell you their expert opinion, and then you do the treatment plan that they give you. I know a lot of people say do natural and all of this. For me, I needed to make the decision that was best for my family, and the decision
Mhm.
was to follow the doctor's order.
Yeah.
People tell you what they think you should do, especially when health wise, don't do this, drink this, do. But when they're in the situation, they don't follow those. They do whatever they gonna need to do to stay alive. So I'm gonna tell you, don't listen to other people's opinion. Get quiet, listen to what God is speaking to you and what's best for you, and listen to your doctors. They're not going to lead you the wrong way. And
Yeah.
then let them know that you want to go a healthy route, and they're going to tell you the healthy things to do, which is maybe just changing your diet and eating a different type of food and less processed food and less meat and all of this stuff, because we made those changes and we were fine.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna suck it up and I'm gonna get it done. I make this vow right now on this platform that I am going to do it, and I'll also come back. I guess I guess you can call it a review, but I
Mm-hmm.
can tell about my experience, because I think for those that even if they don't have it but went through the process, I think just hearing somebody else's experience of going through that process will encourage others that may still be afraid, like me, still
Yeah.
has some hesitance. So,
Yeah. And once you
but
go through
again,
it, you'll
I
be
do
able to
want to,
help others. I know I was saying, once you
yeah,
go through it, you're going to be able to walk
uh-huh,
somebody. Somebody else is going to sit in the same seat and say, I'm afraid. And you're going to say, no, I did it. And you're going to be able to walk
hmm,
them through that process. So
yeah,
it's important for you to go do it, because you are a leader, you are a pillar of the community, you are
yes,
bringing
ma'am.
good news and spreading information, and you want to have everything you need to be equipped with to help somebody.
I think that's the best idea, and I am
Mm-hmm.
going to subside my fear to go ahead and get it done. I want to inspire, so and encourage, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it.
Yes.
Okay, well, I want to thank Ms. Arriel Bivens again for sitting down with me and having this conversation. Also, stay tuned for a Breaking News Thursday that will be coming up really soon. And as I always say, pass on the word. Y'all have a good night.
Have a good night.
Hi, I'm Chaz, a candle maker out of Jacksonville, Florida. I specialize in all things smokeless, so candles, incense, room sprays. All of the products can be found online at littlesuncandle.com or on social media at LITTLESUNCANDLE.
Tom Lane here. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe to this channel. Also, slap on that notification bell so that way you are the first to know when I post new content. Thumbs up your favorite and pass on the word.
Every Thursday with Tom